I'm really, I'm going to share a quick story in introducing our very, very special guest on this very special call. So a few months ago, I was in full swing, doing a lot of coaching and running two separate businesses at that time. And I got on a phone call with a gentleman who is a friend and a mentor to me. And he shared some ideas of some things that he was doing. And I remember throughout the course of the conversation, we stayed on the phone till about 1:30 in the morning. I knew that before that call was over, that I was going to stop everything that I was doing, and I was going to bet on him. We often will bet on ourselves because we understand who we are and where we come from. But his vision and his track record of success, his level of accomplishment and achieving, and his thinking has always been so much larger than anything that I had ever personally encountered. And people ask me, well, why would you close down a multiple six-figure coaching business? Why would you stop doing your other business and just literally start from scratch with this particular gentleman on his idea? And I said, well, there's only a few times, if you're lucky, in a generation that something comes along that is worth putting everything on the line for. And if you're ever fortunate enough to be in that type of situation, in my humble opinion, you'd be a fool not to take that risk and not to take that leap of faith and belief. And I believe in him as much as I have believed in anyone that I've had the privilege of working with. And I'm not saying that just because he's a friend. I'm saying it because, again, when you get a chance to spend some time, just a little bit of space in his head, if he gives you access to a little bit, it's going to open up your world a whole lot. So without further ado, I'd love to bring on our CEO, chairman of iBüümerang, visionary, father, husband, and awesome leader and man, Mr. Holton Buggs.
Let me unmute. Okay, there we go. Ed, first of all, thank you, man. Thanks so much for great words, for kind words, and I appreciate just a heartfelt introduction that's simple and sincere, which is really important to me. I know you and I have a great history of connection and some things through the years that you've taught me that I still hold true to this day, and there's some things that I know that you've admitted that you've learned from me as well, and that's the purpose and the basis of a real good friendship. And I had never anticipated in the world of networking that we'd be doing business together. But that's the difference between friendships and commissionships. So you have a real true friendship. You never know what the future may hold, and proud to be in business together. Proud to be your CEO, but most importantly, proud of the relationship of transparency that we have. And so, I'm obviously here at your request. I know you wanted to have a few people on a call, but when you say few, I've learned to realize that your few is in exponential terms. So, but I'm here to serve. So I'm here really to share vision and share whatever is necessary and needed for a few of your friends, the people that you have on the call, to have a clear picture of what our vision is. And so, I'll turn it over to you for more questions, and whatever direction that you see fit for me to go, we can go that direction. And the thing I'll tell you, like I tell everybody who I talk to, is that there's no questions that are off limits. When it comes to hearing about business, any business that I'm involved with. So, me, I'm very candid. So shoot straight, and I always shoot straight back.
It's good stuff. We have some individuals that we elevated to ask questions, and you all know who you are. So go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us where you're calling in from, and then shoot your question out if you would, please.
Hey guys, if I can. Okay, my name is Roman, and I'm from Europe. And it's honor to see you and hear you. And I have two questions, if I can. And first question is, Holton, please, what is the biggest competitive advantage of iBoomerang?
That's a great question, Roman. First, nice to meet you. And I don't think we've ever met before. I don't recall, but anyway, nice to meet you. And the biggest competitive advantage of iBoomerang is, number one, is that we have no competitors. And when I say that, I don't say it from an arrogant standpoint. What I've realized is the best way to separate yourself is to put yourself in an arena where people don't even understand how to compete against you. And the way you do that is you do it by, number one, understanding your industry just as good as anybody else, and then understanding the future of where the industry is. And the only way to understand the future of the industry is create it. And so when you take a look at who's second place to Amazon, who's second place to Uber, who's second place to Airbnb, the reason that they don't necessarily have to have competition is because they were innovative and they created the future instead of trying to do the same thing that some other company was doing. And that's not arrogance. It's just wisdom, and it's smart business. And anyone can be a great second place prize winner. But that wasn't my goal. 29 years in the industry, I didn't step out to do something that I said I would never do, which is own a company, and I'd never participate in travel. I didn't go against those things because I wanted to be like someone else and say we're just like them but better. And so I set out and I started iBoomerang because I wanted to solve the biggest problem that I had witnessed in 29 years in this industry, and that is everybody else is playing for second place. And whoever gets the biggest second place trophy is the one who has the bragging rights. And I don't roll that way. So I looked at this network marketing industry and I understand it, I'd say pretty well. And I saw major problems. I saw every company was basically a reincarnation of an older company. And it's almost like taking the Atari and reinventing the Atari by putting a PlayStation 4 or 5, I don't know which one they have now, putting a label of PlayStation 5 on the old Atari and calling it a PlayStation 5. No, you just got a old Atari that's rebranded in a brand new box. And so I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want to do that. And that's the problem with the industry of network marketing, and why the numbers in the industry have gone backwards is because, in my opinion, I believe that there's a lot of people who are fearful of innovation. And what we do in network marketing is we teach duplication. We don't teach innovation. And so I am a real big product of innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay. And iBoomerang, our company is going to take care of the innovation. And what we're going to do is empower the entrepreneurs. And so we don't do the thing of, hey, just do this right here, just do this right here, just do. No, we teach people how to think. And that's the model that we've set. And so, will we have similar products or in the same industry? Yes, but that's not, I don't compete based off of products. That's a very amateurish way of positioning yourself, because anybody can develop products. Anybody can put together a travel, partners. I mean, just think about it. What network marketing company that owns all the hotels? None of us. So we all have the same access. It's just your entrepreneurs going to be educated and understand and can participate in a futuristic concept that you're creating that everybody else wants to and will eventually follow. And through the evidence of just our first 7 months of business, that's what's happening. So I don't say it out of arrogance. We just say it out of, if you've been doing something for 29 years, if you're not the best at doing it, find a new profession. And so, I've been doing this for 29 years, and I haven't only been doing it, I've studied the industry of people, which is more important than studying network marketing. And when you understand people, then you can really create the future of any business. So it's a long answer, but that's the answer to your question. So that's our competitive advantage there, if you want to call it one.
I also wanted to say this because the question was asked. I've heard it. Somebody's got the dings. I'm not sure whose phone that is. So make sure that you are muted unless you're talking. But we keep hearing the dings from your email. So please make sure you mute yourselves manually or check your phone, put it on mute. Holton, when we hear the words startup, ground floor opportunity, people that are in business, they get excited and they get fearful. And one of the things that I was doing the analysis on was, I don't know, and I might be wrong on this, but I've never heard of a company being started in our space with someone that has the 29 years of experience, the track record as a field leader, track record from a corporate perspective, the results and the record-breaking results as well. I tell people that you've seen it from the very, very bottom to the very, very top and everything in between. I've never heard of a company being started with that type of positioning. And obviously where you're at in your life, you could have not done this and you would have been fine. And Edwin talked about you all could have just kept doing your other businesses and you would have been perfectly okay. He was trying to talk you out of actually doing it. So that question of, well, it's a startup and most startups, are not successful. What do you say to that?
Hold on one second. Hey, Mark, if you could, that's my email. Those are actually.
Okay. Okay.
Every time a sale comes through, it emails me and I need to get this off. So if you could, I don't know what to do here. Just how to.
Tap settings, notifications, mail, and
Done.
turn off.
Is it done? Okay. All right, there we go. Well, let me answer your question here. And Ed, you know me, I answer the right question. I don't answer the wrong one.
Yep.
And most people ask questions and they're not so complete. But let me give you how to ask the right questions and why. But that also goes back to this what's wrong with our industry is that our sales pitches are not only canned and they're the same, the questions are the same. And we don't ask those questions because that's our thought. We ask those questions because that's somebody who has implanted in our head, this is the question that you should ask. And the reason that they say that is because they have something to protect. I never forget when I was in Amway, when I first got started in network marketing, and I would bring to my upline this concept of the binary that people had told me about. You know what my upline always told me? Stay away from those because they always fail. And guess what I did? Because I was taught to duplicate, not to think, I stayed away from them. And the reason he wanted me to stay away is because he knew I'd never come back. And so his advice was more protection for his check, not wisdom for my future. And it's the same thing when I hear this in network marketing. I hear people say, well, it's a startup. Every one of you who on this call would have loved to be at the very beginning of every successful startup. Don't tell me that you would have wanted to be at the end of, get in when Microsoft was already doing billions. You'd have wanted to be there at the mezzanine financing level. How many of you would have wanted to be at the meeting with Jack Ma when he started Alibaba in his living room with 23 people? Don't tell me you want to start and invest right now. How many of you would have wanted to be there with Netflix in the very beginning? And so go to Silicon Valley and tell them you don't want to be in the startup business. You want to start when the company's already stable. They laugh you right out of there because that's not a businessman or businesswoman's language. That's a very inexperienced person's language. But let's address it anyway. Let's address it on that level. Let's address it on the basic level that most network marketers think. And this is one of the biggest reasons why Wall Street don't embrace network marketing, is because they know that the people who are the major participants don't think at a business level. So why would I invest billions of dollars in companies that are, number one, debt-free, have a sales force, they don't pay advertising until the sale is made, they've got the unlimited marketing force, but why won't they normally invest? Because they know we're not equipped. Okay, but let's address it anyway. So number one, people don't even understand why they even ask the question. They don't understand what are the real reasons that startups fail in network marketing specifically. Do you even know how many companies actually do fail and at what point they do fail? And network marketing, guys, the majority of the companies that start, they don't even put 100 people in the business. And so you have to take those numbers and you have to put those numbers in that equation, okay? But let's take a look at it. Number one, the number one reason is, the lack of experience of the owners and those who are running the company. Number two, lack of financing of the proper financing sources. Specifically, if you're in a product-based business, most people think that if they just grow their company and get a lot of sales, they have a lot of money. That's not necessarily true. The faster you grow your business, the more money it costs you. You can be more profitable staying smaller. When you're in a product-based business, it's the forward expenses that cost you the most, because if I'm doing $1 million in sales, my background of biggest success has been in coffee. For every $1 million of coffee that I would sell in the network, I had to have another $1.2 million already in the warehouse. Okay, I had to have another 1.5 million if I'm anticipating growth, 1.5 million already on at the seaport, going through customs and making sure that it's going to be released. I had to have another 1.7 million halfway between Malaysia and the United States, or wherever that coffee was going to be, because you're shipping it in containers and it's 45 days to get there. So I had to have it halfway. That's another 1.7. I had to have another 1.8 million that's leaving my manufacturer, and almost another 2 million that's actually being manufactured, produced, and raw materials being harvested. So for me to sell $1 million worth of product and consistently sell it and grow at 15 to 20% a month, I needed about $6 to $7 million worth of product in the rears. Here's what happens. Companies, number one, if you're a brand new company, you don't have your manufacturers giving you that type of credit. Okay. Number two, your merchant accounts are holding 20% of your revenue. So if most network marketing companies operate off of a 30% profit margin, which most distributors don't know, so you've got 10% of your money left to run a company, pay employees, pay staff, pay executives, because 20% of your money is being held. You've got the forward expenses. And so what happens is, when you're new and you're young, they're not going to send you $8 million in product on a word. You're going to have to pay in advance for your product and establish credit and credibility. This is why it's easier in new companies, product companies, to sustain versus grow rapidly. Well, even if that was our situation, if we were shipping product, not from a bragging standpoint, but our resources are pretty strong, okay? We're debt-free, very strong resources, extremely strong resources that we have, and it's personally funded. I didn't borrow one dime to build this. Number three is the inability to make a connection between the company's mission and the customer and what the customer really wants. The majority of network marketing, 60 to 70% of the revenue sources is internal consumption. And the rest of it leaks out into the form of what we call retail sales. Network marketing, a legal network marketing company, is when you have an end user, which is a customer, and an end user who's a customer who has no benefit from a compensation plan that's generating revenue through retail sales. If you don't have customers, you're operating a pyramid. Period. Okay. So most companies don't know how to make the connection between their mission and with their product and their retail customers. Fourth is they don't know how to maintain a connection and develop and harvest relationships between the leadership of the company and their distributors. Okay. And when you fail at one or more of those, okay, guys, if everybody can put their calls on mute, who's not on a panel, or even if you're on a panel outside of it, put it on mute real quick. So if you fail at any of those, then you got a great chance of not only going out of business as a startup, you got a great chance of going out of business if you're 5 years old. So why are people so concerned about a startup? Do you know 10-year-old companies go out of business every day as well? So let's not only focus on being a startup, but let's dispose that myth anyway. So let's go through these things here. Let's address them all. And I'm here at my corporate executive office right now, and it happened to be great. I didn't plan it this way, but it happened to be great. I'll introduce you to a couple of people so you'll understand and give some evidence here. Number one, let's talk about the lack of experience. I've been doing this for 29 years as a successful distributor. But most importantly, here's the biggest advantage that Ed, you should look at as to why we don't fall into that. It's not my success. It's my first 7 years of failure. So had I jumped into network marketing, never had a challenge, jumped into a 6-figure income, I couldn't relate to 70% of the people who sign up in network marketing. And those are the people who never, ever make more than $500 a month. That's where your money comes from. It doesn't come from $1 million producers. We produce those a dime a dozen. It comes from the people who are making a small income. See, I know what it feels like to sit, to be number 20,500 who comes to the convention and I'm in the nosebleed seats. I know what those people had to do in terms of bringing their little igloo or their little, coolers and pack a lunch because the last money that they spent was on the tickets. So I didn't grow up with the network marketing silver spoon in my mouth. I know what it feels like to drive 14 in a 12-passenger vehicle, 30 hours one way to an event. The 14 of us sleeping in a hotel room when you take the mattresses and put them on the floor and let the ladies sleep on the soft stuff, the guys sleep on the box springs, and then the lowest pins, which was me, slept in the bathroom with my 2 people. So that's where my success doesn't come from the millions of dollars that I've made. My success comes from my failures and my ability to relate to the masses of the people who's going to take on this thing called network marketing. And so number one, we've got that. So I've got 11 years, my last 11 years was as the number one distributor in network marketing, also running the corporate end as the VP of sales and then the chief visionary officer of a company. That's where I cut my teeth in learning both sides of the coin. I never knew that was going to be instrumental in some of my next move. I never was going to own a network. I said, why would I do something dumb like that? I love my freedom. I make way too much money to subject myself to an office and running a company and stuff like that. No, I want my freedom. And, but when I found this technology and this concept, and it's not the travel technology alone, it's the technology. When I found this, it supplied my vision to say, I can't go take this and give it to some other owner and say, go create the vision for me that I've been dreaming about. And so addressing that, 29 years in the field, 7 years of failure, and then a range of also being at an income level that no other distributor has ever experienced before out of one position. Never had multiple positions. My wife didn't have one. My son didn't have one. My income right now holds the record for the most income residually out of one position. So I also know what it feels like to be at the top echelon. Most importantly, I know what it feels like all in between, in the middle. So number 2, if we're talking about experience, where's Lori? People say, well, let's talk about experience. Lori, if you don't mind, come here for a second. I'm going to introduce you guys real quick and some of you may have questions for a little bit later, but my director of travel, okay, right here, Lori Spears. Lori, how long have you been in the travel industry?
I've been in the travel industry for 35 years.
35 years. And just kind of share with them a little of some of what you've accomplished and stuff like that, so people can understand, how to jump the rope from startup to 35 years of experience. Okay.
Absolutely. I've been in the business 35 years. I sit on a lot of boards. I sit on CLIA, that's Cruise Line International Board. I sit on Carnival Cruise Line Board, Norwegian, a couple others. And I know a lot about the travel industry. I've seen a lot of changes in the travel industry. And what I really see right now is there's another change coming. And this is it. It's one thing to have trips and destinations and discounted travel you could take on specific dates, but it's another thing entirely to have a platform that's always going to be below retail, that it's a wholesale because you have to have a membership. That's how you can get that. Ethically in the industry, that's the only way you could get those discounts. And it matches none other. And it's just the beginning because there's so much more that's going to explode with that platform, with the partnership that we have now with Holton Bugs and everybody else that's so eager to make this even be bigger than it could be. I've seen a lot of changes.
But I have a question for you as well, okay? Because I know some people, Ed comes from the travel industry and then he went to a different industry, but he spent a lot of time in travel. So here's my question here. When I started iBoomerang, first thing that I did is I partnered up in an ownership stake of Extreme Travel. Why is it so important for iBoomerang to have a travel agency behind, standing right there with us? And have you seen other network marketing companies do it without travel agencies? And why is it so important to have one?
Yeah, it's very important to have the travel agency. You have the credibility with the industry. You have the partnership. In travel, everything's about partnership and your image and your reputation. It's a very political industry, actually. And when you're in it and you have a stronghold and a reputation that's golden, it goes a long ways for a lot of partnerships, relationships, the ability to get the discounts we get, the ability to get special deals that we get, and just to have the credibility that it's a stronghold, that they know it's not something that's going away. It's a strong industry and it's very diversified. It has a lot of different markets, and to have a travel agency and experience involved in that sits on a lot of the organizations that we're part of gives you political power and advocacy in the right direction.
So how old has our travel agency been around?
It's 20 years old.
20 years old. How much travel did we do last year?
We did over 100 million.
Okay. And, so the credibility is there, the relationships are there. And so the industry of travel, do they recognize Extreme as a startup?
No, they do not recognize us as a startup. We win awards. I actually just was looking at my phone and got an email. They come to us. We see your growth. We see how you make a difference in the industry. You sit in Congress, you go in front of Congress for different things, advocating for our industry. We want to come visit you. We want to have a partnership with you. What do we need to do? Let's talk about our future together. I just had Pleasant Holidays, a big company, contact me. I get companies contacting me like that all the time. They're looking at us as a partnership in an industry that's huge, not just as a startup company. We're together in this.
Awesome. and maybe you guys may have some questions later on for Lori, but I at least wanted to introduce you. They're having lunch over there, but thanks, Lori. I really appreciate you. Watch your step there. I'll give you another one here, guys, from an experience level. And I'll spend a lot of time on this because it's where people go. It's the default. It's the easy default to say of why something, may not work. Mark, come here for a second. Mark's sitting over here. Mark is our VP of marketing, and Mark and I, we've known each other since
17 years.
17 years, okay. So Mark understands the startup world. I want you to tell him a little bit about we met through network marketing. Mm-hmm. Mark, I coached Mark to be a six-figure earner in the industry as a distributor. And we kept our relationship, again, no commissionship, relationship. Mark went off in a different world, start focusing in the business world. I want you to tell him a little bit about what you've done in the startup world over in California, and then I'll tell them how we connected and why you came here to iBüümerang.
Okay, cool. So as Houghton pointed out, I met him 17 years ago, and he coached me to become a six-figure earner. And then the network marketing industry was shifting and changing, and it became very product-based. And so I took a step away, and it was more that I was headed in a different direction. And so I became the director of marketing for a startup. Then I became the VP of marketing for another startup. And I was working in the Silicon Valley area for multiple startups and worked with several companies over a period of time. And I heard somebody, talking about startups and asking the question about, is this a startup? Well, I call it a 29-year-old startup. Being in the startup industry, there has never been a team assembled like this one. And I've been in some companies that I've had some very successful exits with. Last company I was with, I was employee number 24. We grew it to 20 plus million in revenue. We got acquired by a multi-billion-dollar organization, stayed on for another 2 years. And thankfully, I was able to get out of that situation because it became very corporate. And I'd been working in startups for a number of years. So again, I've seen the startup world. I've worked in the startup world for over a decade, and there's nothing about this that indicates it's a startup. And it starts with this guy right here. And what I tell people is this, and he's here right in front of me, but Houghton, and I've worked with multiple CEOs. I was an executive. I was at the top levels in these startups. I had tons of stock options. And these stock options were vesting every year. So that was something that was obviously very nice. Exited, had a very nice exit with a company as well, had equity. And as I worked with these executive and corporate teams, one thing I realized was this, is you get to meet a Houghton Bugs maybe once in your life if you're lucky. I've met, and worked with Houghton in the past, working with him today and seeing how far and how much he has expanded and who he's become in the process. And as soon as he said, hey, Mark, I want you to be a part of the team, I had signed a contract with another company, a startup in San Francisco. The day before, we had talked for $185 an hour, stock options, all that good stuff. And I called that company back the next day, said, I can't do the contract, and flew out to Houston, met with Houghton on Friday, went home and let my wife know that I was quitting my job on Monday. And then, and she said, okay. And here's why she said, okay. She knows Houghton too. She's known him just as long as I've known Houghton. And she knew that whatever Houghton is going to do, it's going to happen. And he's going to stand behind what he does. So I've moved the whole family out here from California about 4 months ago. Everybody's adjusting to the humidity. Things are getting cooler now. In the wine country. So, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. And that's what I want to tell you guys. Don't miss this. Don't miss this.
Awesome. Appreciate you. I'll introduce you guys. I don't know, T. Gray's around here somewhere. Our VP of operations, and there he is right here. Real quick, come over here, T. Gray. I didn't see you over there. We had some people who came in today, and so we've been hosting some people. But T. Gray and I, since was it 2004?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see you there? Let me. There you go. Okay. So since 2004, and we met then, and same thing. Not only multiple six-figure income earner, but has done multiple six figures and built some huge businesses in two other companies at least, right?
Yep.
After the first one,
Yep.
where you and I met, and he walked away from the industry and said he would never do the industry again unless there were some certain parameters. I'll let him tell you those parameters. But anyway, T. Gray's, we call him a VPE, our VP of everything, okay? Because we just get stuff done, guys. We just, it's fun. We just get stuff done, and everybody's in love with what they're doing. But what was important to me is to have two of my top executives to have the experience in the field and people who understand my philosophy, who's not going to be bringing, another 6 different network marketing companies' philosophies in. I wanted a unique philosophy, and I wanted people who understood what we were wanting to do and how we want to treat our ambassadors, and they can relate to it as well. And they can train just about anybody in the industry. They can train them off the stage. So we and I say that affectionately because they understand both areas of it. So I want you to just tell them a little bit about your intro to iBoomerang, and so they see that we got some experience there as well.
No problem. It's an amazing company to be a part of, and like Holton is talking about, the leadership here is like nothing you've ever seen before, and it's crazy. Holton and I were talking about this the other day about how prepared everyone is for their responsibilities. I started out with 17 years of corporate experience before even getting into network marketing. I've been in the advertising industry. I've been in advertising sales, and the last real job I had, I was the Senior Vice President of Business and Corporate Development for a startup internet company that happened to be one of the top search engines during the internet explosion. I was employee number 26. I've had 7-figure W-2s from that environment. I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I got started in network marketing, and it was bewildering to me that I couldn't make it work, even though I had so much success in corporate. So the best thing that happened is in 2004, 15 years ago, I met Holton Buggs. First, I met our global master ambassador, Edwin Haynes, and he introduced me to Holton Buggs. And the two of them took me on as a mentee and literally taught me the system and the philosophy that has created so much success in Holton's businesses over the past decade plus. And I'm actually living proof that it works in other companies, because when I did go off to do other companies, all I did is exactly what Holton taught me, and I was able to build to the diamond level in other companies as well. But the same thing that Mark was talking about, I felt the decline of the industry. I felt that there was a huge stagnation. The industry wasn't evolving at the pace of the rest of the world. It wasn't keeping up with Amazon and eBay and Google. And I quit the industry 3 years before we started doing this. And Holton continued to be my mentor. And I told him, I said, man, network marketing is in my heart. It's in my blood, but I'll only come back on 2 conditions. Number 1, there has to be a company that's doing something totally new, totally revolutionary. It can't be the same old. And number 2, I will only get involved if you are involved. Because the one thing that I learned over the time that I was doing something different is that there's power, there's real strength and real power and momentum in being tied to someone who really knows what they're doing. And that's what Holton represents. Everyone likes to talk about how much money he's made personally, except for Holton. Holton never wants to talk about that. What he likes to talk about is how many people he's helped to make money, the 45 millionaires that he made over the last decade. And that doesn't include the number of people that made between 100,000 and 999, right? And all the people who made tens of thousands. So one of the things that's super unique here is that you have folks who are dual qualified in the sense that they have corporate experience and they have network marketing experience. And you have a leader in Holton Buggs who is passionate about teaching other people how to win.
Awesome. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome.
I may need you back.
I'll be right
Depending on the
back.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, so let me wrap this up here with that part of it, okay? Because I don't want to just drag that one on, but that's critical. The reason that I bring them on is you don't have startups come with this level of experience. So we've got a 20-year-old travel company. We've got 35 years of experience in the travel industry. I've been doing it for 29 years. T. Gray, how many years of networking, T. Gray?
Since 2016, sorry.
16 years. Mark started with me. We've been 14 years, all the corporate experience. And, not having a financial issue whatsoever. So what part of this is a startup outside of the name iBoomerang? And so our name was registered that we revealed on March 8th. And that's the only thing about our company that's new. And so not only that, my first thing that I did when I started iBoomerang is I knew how fast we were going to build it. So I bought an existing company that already had a customer service team that had been around for 18 years, already had the technology, already had the merchant accounts. All right. And so we've made that partnership. So this is not a new thing. So my thing is this here, guys, and even on this call, my goal here is not to sell you. I don't sell iBoomerang. I don't sell network marketing. My goal is to share information. And even if you go use this, I want you to be wiser with your next opportunity, whether it's network marketing or not. So anything I'm sharing here is not to convince you to join us. That's not what this is all about. It's to give you an insight so that you can be a part of at least the mindset of what's going on here. But the last question I'll ask you is this. Do you know that more distributors are unsuccessful than companies? So why is it that we still recruit people when they've got a 90-something% chance of not making money? We still enroll them. We still go and say, hey, listen, come join this. Even though I know you got a 90-something% chance of losing, you enroll them anyway. Why? Because that's called capitalism. And anytime somebody's going to guarantee you a floor where you can't fail, that means they're also going to guarantee you a ceiling, which means you will not excel. And so I want the ability to fail. I'm so glad that we can fall flat on our face and be the biggest embarrassment in the industry. Because without that, we couldn't be the biggest thing that we're planning to be in the industry. So I'll put it back to you.
We had another question. I see Mr. Craig Sweet. I know you had a question, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Elton. Man, I wanted just to see and get your professional opinion of those that, are involved in companies that become emotionally attached to the company. What would you suggest for those people that are not making money, but yet they're so emotionally attached that they can't break that cycle? It seems like that's kind of a normal situation that's been happening for years and years. And I've known you for many years, man. And I just want to get your personal opinion of what when a person becomes emotionally attached to a company, what would help them leave that company in order to make some money?
All right. Well, it's a question that you ask, and most people wonder about that. And you know me, I'm always honest. I think it's incredible. It's what's needed for people to be emotionally attached to companies. I want so many people emotionally attached to iBoomerang, but I want them more emotionally attached to their family and to their goals. And if they are emotionally attached to the company and they're not making money, but they're serving their purpose, they should stay there. They should stay. I see people just sometimes switch for the sake of switching, and it's no different than churches. Well, this pastor's message is better. You're not getting into heaven any faster just because this pastor's have a slicker tone or whatever it is. Why are you there? And most people don't have any idea why they're in a company. And they have no idea why I'm emotionally excited about this company. They're just there. And that's a separation between leaders and followers. And I've been a follower for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I'm a better student than I am teacher. But I've always led. but I've never been one who didn't understand where I was going and why I was at a certain place. I can't advise a person to leave a company because that's not my place. As a CEO of a company, I think it would be a disservice to this industry for me to get on any call and tell someone they should leave their company, knowing that I own one. All I can tell and advise a person is always do a reassessment of why. Why am I here? If you just want to be a cheerleader and go to events, then admit it. Hey, listen, I don't care if I make money. Let me just go and get cheers. If you've got a goal to earn a certain amount and you're on track, well, guess what? If you want to make $100,000 there, can you make $100,000 here? Of course. You don't need to be here to make $100,000. If your goal is to make $1 million somewhere, if it's available to you, you believe you can do it, stay and make your $1 million. But be true to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, not only is it possible, and here's the difference. Here's where I don't sell dreams to people of possibilities, because possibilities keep most people broke. And what do I mean by that? Me as an owner telling people in my organization when I've had issues before in companies, it's still possible. The only reason I can legitimately say that is because possibility has to do with numbers. And so a company can be failing. Is it possible to make $1 million just starting? Yeah, because the math exists. For us to say it's not possible means that we are defying mathematics. I don't deal in possibilities when it comes to my goals. I deal in probabilities. How probable is it? Possibility is there, but if I'm looking at this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue, the probability is no longer there. So when I made my decision to make an exit from a company before, it was based off of my goals, not what my group was saying. I never asked my group to evaluate a new opportunity and then we're going to make a decision. That's not leadership. That is fear that I can't do it alone. And the reason I love this industry so much is because I know I have the knowledge to produce results. So when I go to bed at night, that's my security. Because take everything away, whatever, start me over at zero, put me in a country, as long as there's 2 people in there, whereas I can recruit one on my left and one on my right, I'll build it over again faster. And so I don't tell people, hey, what they should do. When I made a decision, and I never forget, many of you saw my red jacket training when I said I made a phone call of 16 people. I told them what my decision was for my family, not asking them to follow me. If you have to ask people to follow you, you're not a leader. And I don't believe in permission-based leadership. I made a decision and I told them, if none of you join in my decision, I will build this income up to a certain amount of money. I said, I'll build it up and I'll make $500,000 my first year. That wasn't iBoomerang, that was a different company. And I meant it. And I had 16 people on that call and 8 of them didn't follow. And we're still friends today. And the 8 that did, 5 of them were family members and 3 that were distributors are multimillionaires. But guess what? The other 8 came later. So I just lead. I just lead. And so, this world has to have followers. And I don't say that in a demeaning sense, but this world's not cut out for everybody to be a Craig Sweet, make their own decisions. This world thrives on people who are unable to make their own collective decisions, and repetitive statements is what paralyzes decision making, and it keeps people in the hope business. And so this is why churches work. And I'm not getting religious. It works because I can give you hope no probability. This is business. And so I decided a long time ago, you're either going to be in business or you're going to be in charity. And I don't do charity. And when I'm in business, I do business. And I do a whole bunch of charity. So it's not my place to tell someone to leave, to stay. My advice is fall in love with your decision. And I tell people all the time, don't worry, are you making the right decision? Make a decision and then make it right. My biggest successes have come from what people thought was my biggest mistakes. Why? Because I never relinquished my commitment to making that decision the right one. Hopefully that gave you
spot on. There's a couple of individuals in the chat, and I want to speak to this. It comes up in travel, and it comes up when you have a company. And you can, I mean, obviously, I want you to tell me if I'm off course on this, but we don't promote iBoomerang and tell everyone that every single time you book, every price that you find is going to be the absolute lowest price. We don't tell everyone that you can't find flights somewhere else better. We say that in the presentation. We don't guarantee flights. I feel like people have to understand.
Ed, your signal's really bad. I can't hear you at all.
I'm gone?
Yeah, you were garbled. Your signal was not good at all.
Okay, how about now?
It's 50%.
Okay, so
take your video off and just be on audio. You have a better connection. There you go.
Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Okay, great. So people think iBoomerang, oh, we're going to have all the best prices all the time. No, we're going to guarantee flights. We've never said that. We make it clear in the presentation that's not a part of it. And you said it, if you can find a flight somewhere else, great. I've heard Tigre say it as well. It's about the experience. It's about having access to technology that's going to put you in a much more advantageous position when you're booking the majority of the time. We're building a relationship. It's not a one-off. I don't promote iBoomerang for the one trip that you might take. I promote iBoomerang because we're building a relationship for the next 20 plus years. And as you mentioned in the beginning of the call, travel is the front door. It's a significant piece, but there's so much more in development. So I wanted to make sure that the person in the chat didn't feel like we're not ignoring you, but I did want to address that question because it does come up. I think people look at iBoomerang to get overly excited and they think, oh, you're going to get the best price, 100% of the time, everything's going to be great. And I'm like, calm down. Like, it's a great platform, but slow your roll.
No, you're correct. I mean, everybody on this call here has either wanted to or purchased a vehicle before. And when you purchase that vehicle, probably 70% of you have purchased a warranty. Why? Because it might not work. There's nothing that's foolproof, guaranteed 100% of the time. Every one of you have insurance. Why? Because your driving experience may not be up to par that time. And so when we get into network marketing, we lose all sense of reality. It's that network marketing mindset that is why this industry goes backwards, because we say foolish things that it just doesn't make sense. You can talk to an 8-year-old and ask them, and they'll know the answer. You get in network marketing, and we've got grown granddads and grandmothers and mothers and parents who think that guarantees should come because they enrolled with $1,000 package, and for the rest of my life, every time I use the technology, the cheapest price on my selected hotel is no, it's nonsense. Okay, I was just looking at my bookings though. I think I've got 36 bookings, and out of 36 bookings, I believe maybe only one time I didn't get a cheaper price. Once or twice, I did not get a cheaper price than what the competition offered. You know, with airline tickets, the airline just don't pay commissions. They're not guaranteeing anybody cheaper fares. Here's what I can tell you. Quite often people use our search engine and the price just comes up cheaper. Not that it has anything to do with us making it cheaper. It's the algorithms that they use for the search. It just sometimes comes up cheaper. If you find it somewhere else cheaper, book it there. You know, by all means, book it there. But no, it's nothing's 100%. Like you said, it's the experience. Here's what I do know. I could make the technology can work 100% of the time. Because see, sometimes we misuse technology. Here's the best way to use it. I can afford to stay anywhere I want to stay, but I'm cheap. I'm a cheapskate, okay? They call me Wholesale Holton because I don't pay retail for nothing, just never have, okay? But when I go to places, Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis are normally my hotels of choice. They're 5-star. But when I go somewhere, if Ritz-Carlton is $500 a night, but on my platform, I've got another 5-star. Like, for example, I was in Miami and I had another 5-star hotel. Actually, I was looking at the St. Regis, but the Ritz-Carlton I got it for 50% off. Guess what? I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton that night, whereas I normally stay at the Ball Harbor St. Regis. It's one of my best hotels in the world. So guess what? It worked for me. It's designed to give you options. It's designed to make travel more affordable. It's not designed to say, well, here's where I choose to stay, and they better have saved me 50% or 60% this night. It doesn't work that way. I was headed, up, leaving, and I mean, I just come from 5 different countries. I was in London. We saved money there. I went to Paris, saved money there. Went to Dubai. As we're registering the entire Middle East of our company. We've got Middle East, it's just booming for us right now. Registering all of that. Left there and went to Lebanon and Beirut. And while we were in Paris, here's what was so cool. I'll give you this story. We're there, myself, I got Edwin Haynes, I've got one of our newest diamonds. They went diamond their first week in the business, Thomas and Annie Poulin. They just got an article written on them from Business for Home. And I had Anna, and then I had my assistant Anna, and then I think that was it. So we needed 4 or 5 rooms. We get to the hotel here. I never forget this. The hotel we were staying at is a 5-star hotel. It was 489 euros per night. I go online, I book. It's 12:35 a.m. So the clock had gone over, so I couldn't book the previous day because the calendar says the next day. So I booked one night. Why? Because my price was $304 US per night, whereas they were 489 euros. And I go up to the counter and ask the guy, I said, listen, if I can show you that I booked this as a cheaper price, would you honor the $304 per night? He says, there's no way you can get the hotel cheaper than what we give it to you. I say, well, we can, sir. I can show it to you. No, we can't. You can't. And he has this French accent. And so he charges me the $489. I show him my booking for the next day, which is $304. Impossible. I say, it's not impossible. He says, how do you know it's not impossible? I own the company, sir. And so they made us pay the 489 euros that night, but for the remaining 3 nights that we were there, I got it for $304. Now remember, 489 euros. Our site, I paid $304 US times 4 rooms times 12 nights. Guys, that's what it's about. Last story I'll give you on that. Here's the best story. Forget about big savings. Let me tell you why iBüümerang works. Let me tell you why I built this. I didn't build it for that because I can pay for any room that I want. You know what I built it for? I had a lady. She comes to me. She says, Mr. Bugs, I just want to thank you for iBoomerang. I say, well, no, I want to thank you. She says, no, you don't understand. I said, well, tell me your story. She says, I'm a single mother and I'm in sales and I'm first time in sales and I'm not so great at it and I'm not making a lot of money yet. I travel around and I pay for my hotels. And she says, often when I travel, I have to choose one of the 3 meals that I'm going to not receive or eat because I can't afford the travel expenses and to eat 3 meals. She said, I use this technology, and she said, I saved $36. She said, what that $36 did for me, it made me not have to choose which meal I was going to miss. She said, if I never made $1 in this company, she says, the dignity of being able to eat when I want to, she says, that means more to me than anything, so I want to thank you. That's who iBoomerang is for. I mean, that's what this is about. I sometimes check in the room and I'll say $14. And you know what? I jump up for joy. Why? It works. It works. You know, I've gone to places and I'll scroll through and I see people, they saved $1.42 and I celebrate it. Why? It works. You know, now I've gone off and recently for my birthday, I was in Mexico and I saved $4,300 on my room. I was there for 7 days, 5-star, incredible place. It was $9,000 for a week. I got it for $4,600. How much, Anna? $4,600 or something? She booked it for me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Guess what? That's a win. But when is the last? That's not everybody. I don't brag about that. Why? When's the last time most people stayed in a room that's $9,000 for a week? Give me the person who's Marriott. Give me the person who's Hilton. But that's where they normally stay. But what if I can put them in 4 Seasons for the same price? Now, what I've done is I've given them the ability to step up their game experience and be treated a little bit differently than they probably would have been treated if they had stayed at maybe a Motel 6 or the Red 8 or whatever those, you know, whatever it is. So that's what this is about. And the testimony, I can tell our supplier, I'll show you a text message from our supplier. Our first week in business, we became the number one, not number 2. After 7 days in business, we surpassed every other client that they had, and they've got over 300 of them in terms of the bookings. They sent me an email. You are now our number 1 priority. Why? Because everybody comes to them bragging about what they're going to do. We didn't brag. We just simply went out there and did it. We're now over 200,000 customers using this technology. You know, the millions of dollars saved of people who've used our platform. So that's what it's about. You know, it's not about, you know, and here's what people do. They'll go on and I had a person, and I taught this when we were just in another country I can't mention right now, registering. But we were there in the previous country, it was Paris. I mean, huge meeting. It's growing like a weed over there. And these guys said, well, I went on and the price was more expensive. What people do is they'll go on. See, this is why no one, if you're, don't sell people on your company. That's what rookies do. You'll never hear me sell a person on iBoomerang at all. Why? Because a person, they're looking for a reason or excuse, and they'll find it. So the guy comes up, yeah, I went on the site and I looked at the room and it was $5 more than booking.com. Where? Afghanistan. I said, are you going to Afghanistan anytime soon? No. Well, what's the problem? See, they want to have a reason. Well, sir, you know what? Don't book on our site. And as I said, if somebody else is cheaper, either don't book on our site or book on our site and let me give you 110% of the difference. I'll guarantee it for you. You know, but I don't want you to use us at your expense. This company was designed for you to use us and let us empower you with savings. And so that's what it's about. That's just the travel part. It's a big part now because it allows us to attract. That's not who we are. who we are and where we're going, the world hadn't seen that yet. Amazon started with books. When was the last time you bought a book from Amazon? Think about it. There was a reason they started with books. Do you know why? They started with books for the purpose. That was the first idea or concept of data analytics. See, if I know what you read, if I know what a database of people read on a repetitive basis, I know how you think and I know what you want. So that's why he started with not to be the world's greatest bookseller. So now you go onto Amazon and guess what happens? Everything that you've been thinking and talking about shows up on your Amazon because they knew how you thought. That's what we're doing. I don't know of a company who's put a database of customers together like we have as fast as we have, because we're harvesting the data and building relationships with the customers, so that we can offer them what they want, not what we want to sell them. Customers want freedom. People are more intelligent. And so it's just a different world. So I'll go to the next question here.
Okay, let's do rapid fire because I know we have to make sure that we keep you on schedule with your time. Rapid fire questions. Number one, what do we say to people in different countries in terms of our product offering if we don't have some of the same elements that maybe are available in other countries?
So if they don't have the same, well, I mean, right now, when you look at travel and hotels are available everywhere. This is why it was so important to start with it, because it's universal. And I've used this all over the world. I just left India. I use it, checked into a hotel, and it worked there. I use it in France. I use it in Dubai. We use it all over the world. I've used it over in Thailand. I've used it over in Mexico. I mean, there's not a place in the world that we haven't used it. I use it in Vegas, United States. So that's available there. Now, a global company, by the way, is not a company who just signs distributors up all over the world. That's not a global company. That is global representation. A global company is a company who identifies the culture and the desires of that specific country and designs services and products specifically for that country that may not be available everywhere else. Now you've got a global company. And you've got one product and it's available everywhere. That's not global company, it's global distribution. So, for example, there's going to be products or services we have in the US that we don't have anywhere else. Why? Let me give you an example. For example here, these products are for our customer base. So we have a relationship with our customers, and because they trust us and because they know what's available here, they buy other things from us. For example, we're launching our rideshare. Why? Because it's the future. We know when they book their hotel, right? Because they booked it through us. So when they book their hotel through us, we know when they booked it. We know when they're leaving. Guess what pops up on their phone maybe 3 hours or 4 hours before they're supposed to leave? A little push notification. Hey, listen, you know what? You're about to head to your hotel. Would you like a free ride? Using Vibe Rides, download the software, we give you a free ride. Then we tell them, hey, listen, send after your ride, how did you like your ride and experience? You're on your way to your hotel, send this app to 5 of your friends. You know what we'll do for free? We'll give you a $50 savings off on your next hotel. Anytime you want to use it, free, don't cost them anything. Why? That's the business we're in. So we're treating our customers with respect and dignity, and they never pay us for anything. We give everything away to them free. But will we have rideshare in some other countries? No. Some other countries we won't have it because the legalities of it doesn't work that way. We've got a specific strategic plan to be who we're going to be in this company. We're not just throwing mud up on the wall and saying, oh, hey, we have travel. Everybody just go sign up for travel. Distributors pay a subscription and you're making a residual income. That's a pyramid. Our revenue, the bulk of our revenue is going to come from customers, not from distributors. If my income comes from distributors, I'm just a recruiting machine. And guess what? Recruiting never grows into the sky, just like trees don't. So next question.
How do you determine countries that you're going to open? Obviously, people are hearing about iBoomerang all over the world, and we get this question a lot. When is my country going to open? When is my country going to open? So how do you determine that, and what do you think is an appropriate response when we get people hitting us up from other countries that are not open yet?
Here's what I tell people. The best way, guys, I've built internationally, and people sometimes don't understand the responsibility that's required to build internationally. It's not easy. It's, you know, and it costs. We don't do it haphazardly. We don't just say, we register, we put money, we just left particular countries right now. We're setting up office. We are putting in investment money in there, training facilities and stuff like that. Because my goal is not to go and take away from a country. When I'm going, I'm meeting with government officials saying, I want to bring this to your country. How can I work with you to enrich the people of your country and take the burden off of you in terms of you having to support them? You tell me what we need to do. Here's what we're going to bring. They love it. So what you do, if you want to build internationally, build in America if you're in America. If you're waiting on us to open, let's just say, you know, Kazakhstan, guess what? In America, there's a lot of people from Kazakhstan here. You build here, get our attention. We open Kazakhstan. But, you know, so it's money. Now, we've got customers now and people who are purchasing from us in 161 countries around the world right now. And so it's all about data. We use data, and we allow the marketplace to determine our strategic moves outside of what we strategically want to do in certain markets. And so as we see the movement, we're a little bit reactive. I'd say 25% reactive, watching movement. But we have a plan. 75% of it is proactive. We know where we're going to go. We know what products we're going to bring and services that we're going to bring to the marketplace, and we know where we're going to put them. You know, so we don't spill all the beans right now, but just with what we have now, I mean, we're bringing our mobile service, but will our mobile service work in a place, for example, like India? No, you know why? Well, the richest man in India just put $35 billion into mobile services, and it's $5 a month per person. We won't go there with it. So, but there's things that they do in India, or there's things that they do in this country or that country that America won't do, and we'll take it over there, and they'll be the only ones who have it in their particular country. Next question.
Okay, to the panelists, there's another question that you have. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask it, please. Can't hear you, love. Can't hear you.
Let me see.
There you go.
There you go. There you go, Nikki.
You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, great. All right, so I want to just say I appreciate you for coming on here and taking your time out. And I just want to ask, just for builders, like a building question. I know that you have hit records, and I heard that Ed Haynes just hit 1 million, and we've only been officially launched for less than 60 days or about 60 days. So for a brand new person, because I know we have a variety of people on here, people that are listening that may be on the fence, people that have been in network marketing for years, people that just started and had never even heard of network marketing. What would you tell a brand new person coming to this opportunity to focus on within the next 90 days? So that they can have some type of results, like, you know, like if they're having an aspiration to hit levels that you guys have, what should they be doing? Okay.
You know, that's a great question. The way I do and teach coaching is what I call bespoke style. And what I mean by bespoke, it's all customized to your particular interests. I don't just do blanket coaching because it doesn't work. All of us are different and have individual assets that we bring to the table that may allow us to grow faster, or some of us may have to take a longer route to the business. And so this is what's also wrong with the industry is we throw out these things and say, hey, do this, and you'll go and hit this amount of money in this amount of time. Well, how do you know? You know, it's no different than if I took 6 people here today and I said, hey, on this call, didn't know them, and I told them, hey, listen, here's what I want you to eat. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to run X number of miles a day. I want you to work out X number of days. And in 6 weeks, each one of you are going to lose 50 pounds. No, it doesn't work that way, because the person may not, it may take them 6 months to lose 50 pounds because they're right in shape. Then I have another person may lose 50 pounds in the first month because they're probably 100, 200 pounds overweight. So we have to do an assessment that way. No one would go to the doctor and the doctor just give them the same thing that the last patient just left, has a whole different diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So in a general sense, here's what you should do, okay? Number one, if the person wants to hit their goals and really get on a fast, accelerated pace, number one, understand the vision of who we are and what we are, because it's very difficult to sell a person on the business if they don't buy you. So I always make sure the person buys me first, and then they figure out what they're going to join. They buy HB first. That's who I sell. I don't sell the business. I sell me. And then they say, okay, what comes with this guy right here? And this guy knows where he's going. Oh, this company with this technology is, that's $1,000. Okay, yeah. But I'm betting my $1 million on him. My $1,000 goes for the package. The package is an accessory. They buy you, Nikki. And that's why the success that you're going to have is because they're going to buy you. Now, the next thing is get a specific game plan and follow the five-step system that we do have, because that's going to be a conversation between that new person and their upline, assessing their goals. You'll see us talk about the who, what, when, where, and why. What are you going to do? Who do you want to do it with? Why do you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. All of those things, that's in the who, what, when, where, and why. Now it's customized. Your sponsor or leader, they know what it is that you want. You want to make sure that your name is ringing in their mind. So for example, Nikki, if I'm doing goal setting and planning, and I'm your mentor or coach, you want to make sure that you've told me exactly and specifically what it is that you're using this vehicle called iBüümerang for. Why? Because if I know, I've got a picture of it, and every time I see your phone, I'm seeing what it is that you want, and it makes me more eager to go work with you and for you. If it's just a number, guess what you are? A number. And I didn't build what I built because I just give facts and figures. I built what I built because I take the time and I get emotionally attached to your specific goals. Then we give you a strategic plan of what are some of the work requirements that are going to be necessary in order to accomplish that. But most importantly, if a person does all of that and do not infuse themselves in our system, they're going to now have to add time, additional time that it's going to take to achieve those goals. And so, we've got a complete system here. And, there's a science and there's an art form to network marketing and goal achievement. What I do, and you heard Mark talk about me created 45 millionaires. I didn't create them. You know what I did create? I created the environment in order for them to be able to see it. The reason that some people haven't made $1 million is because the environment is so toxic or so opaque, they can't even see 100 grand. Whatever we see, we run towards. Whatever we can't see, we don't run towards it. And so I create the environment for it to happen. I didn't create them. Edwin Haynes, we turned our systems on 6.5, 7 months ago. He's already made over $1 million. Well, I didn't do the work. You know how many three-way calls I did for him? Maybe 2. I didn't do any meetings for him. I didn't do any Zoom calls for him. I created an environment of how I started off building the company and made sure he watched everything that I did. The sense of urgency in which we built, the environment, how we treat people, how we treat our ambassadors. We have the IT factor, integrity and transparency. Anything that goes on in our company, when we know, it's a matter of putting the email together, assessing what the resolution is going to be. Our field knows. It's okay, well, let's see if we can hide this and fix it so they won't. No. We want you to know. I'll publicly say this. This week here, we were 1 day late on commissions. We didn't just respond after commissions were late. When we found out we were going to be late because this is the first time our residuals and our weeklies hit on the same date, you know what? Some stuff went haywire. We didn't know it. We called, told my team, hey, listen, if there's a possibility we're going to be late, send the email, send the text messages, let them know. There's so many different components of the environment, but work is a big part of it as well. So they're going to have to make sure that they assess what they have, what I call the assets, which is the people that they want to approach, customers that they're going to want to build with as well, what their strategy is going to be. But it's all about communication. And so Edwin Haynes is the master at it. Not only he has made $1 million, he's got 2 people who are now close to $1 million already. Several who are already over the $500,000 mark, and several who are over. So, and I don't say that to brag or to give, make people think that everybody who joins is going to have that success right away. But I say it because he's orchestrated that. He knows, he's a technician. He's an artist when it comes to that. And he's produced other artists when it comes to it because he's learned it from me. And that's how I build the business. And so, but there won't be a reason that anyone will be able to blame iBoomerang for not achieving their goals. That's what my goal is to make sure that a person is going to have to look in the mirror and say, it's me. It has nothing to do with the company.
As always, you are over delivering, which we are greatly appreciative of. Speaking of the systems and plugging in, we have events that are coming up. Is it fair to say utilizing iBoomerang on Facebook and Instagram, iBoomHub.com are great resources to make sure that you know when the next events are taking place, as well, obviously, as the dashboard and the back office are those great sources to plug into for events?
Absolutely. Plug into it. Get on the Facebook. iBoom. Trust me. Not only. Oh yeah. Of course, I'll tell them about flight school. Tomorrow we're having. If you go to the Facebook iBoomerang, Facebook.com/ whatever it is, iBoomerang. I don't know how it works, right? But iBoomerang. Okay. Everything we do is there. Our whole. You can't miss anything if you're there plugged in. You follow us on Instagram as well. And like tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, we have what's called flight school, and we have it every morning. It's become one of the staples of the culture that we have here. And tomorrow we're going to have T. Gray, who's going to be doing incredible training. And we'll also have Lori Spear. Ed Haynes? He's here? He's going to do it? He's going to do it. Oh, so guys, listen, is he here? Yeah, he's here. Where is he? He's in your office having a meeting. He's in my office having a meeting. I like to just introduce him, let him say hello if he could. Get Ed to come. But tomorrow, guys, this is every Saturday. Normally you have T. Gray, you have Mark, they host it. And Lori, are you doing the call tomorrow as well, or just Ed Haynes? So if you want to hear all from Lori, those of you who love travel, I can tell you right now, there's nobody who's more connected than she is. I'm not talking about theoretically. I'm talking about from a documentation standpoint. When CLIA, the cruise industry, wants to pass laws, they call her. Could you please speak at Congress on behalf of us? When the travel industry wants something, she's the call that she's one of the main calls that they do. Learn from her tomorrow, but I've got the $1 million man over here. He don't like us talking about this whatsoever. He didn't even know. Did you know you was over $1 million?
No, I haven't been counting.
Okay. but we were just, we were just come from a trip together. I'm gonna give you. I just want you to say hello to him, and I don't even want to focus on just the money, but I wanted to introduce you to him anyway. He's made millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in this industry with us. And so I don't want new people to hear somebody's made $1 million in the first 7 months of the company and think, oh, well, I'm just a rookie. And number one, it's possible. Okay. And number two, for him, he made it probable. Okay. And so, but that's not everybody. But I didn't build this for people. I didn't build this company for him. I didn't build it for Ed Blunt. I didn't build it for you, Nikki, and Craig Sweet. You guys have been successful in everything. I built it for the Holton Bugs, who was in the industry the first 7 years, that guy who never made more than $500 a month in 7 years. my first set. That's who I built it for. He can go sell this iBoomerang water. He can go sell this and he can tell the customers there's no benefits other than it will quench your thirst. And guess what? He'll make $1 million. Okay. But I built it for that person who looks at us and say, wow, is it possible one day? Yes, it's possible one day, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot of coaching, takes a lot of change. But I want you to just say hello to him. And there's some people on the call, Ed Blunt here, that invited us on. I've been fielding some questions, and say hello to the people.
Okay, hello. Hey Ed, how you doing? Hey, listen, I don't know what I was in the room and then in the other office. We were trying to listen in, but I had some people that flew in to have a meeting with us, so I didn't get a chance to hear all the great information that was shared. But we are extremely excited about having you all a part of this organization, and it's been a fun ride. And I did hear the part where you said I was trying to talk him out of it. Man, I was not looking to do another company. I'll tell you that. I mean, we've done well. He's always taught us to do the right things with our money. And fortunately, I listened to him this time because, coming from, and I learned my lesson because coming from foreclosure, bankruptcy, and repossession, all at the same time when I met him, I had foreclosure, bankruptcy, and repossession thinking. And so thankfully, I found the right sponsor who not only showed me how to build the industry the right way, but to actually get my life right and be able to grow my income. And we always been talking about having 6 different 6-figure incomes coming in and that whole type of thing. And network marketing will be just one of those. Mm-hmm. And so now I have been able to realize those dreams and the goals that we have. And now I'm looking at what's happening right now. And this is not tooting his horn because, we keep it real here. But I hear him talking about breaking his record of $1 million a month. But he said, I'm not going to do it with myself. I'm going to help other people do $5 million a month. I want to create the most people who's ever built an organization in this industry to earn $5 million a month. And I'm like, what a heck of a goal that we'll be able to do. And to be able to see him focus more on people. And I know him inside and out. And it's really been more about the people. Whether it's for bragging rights, I don't know what it is, but all of us get a chance to benefit from, we call him, some people affectionately say the Michael Jordan. I say the Holton Bugs of our industry. And if you want to call me Scottie Pippen, I don't care what you want to do, but I've never, it would be an honor to be in any sport, if you will, to play with one of the greatest who's ever played sports. We happen to have the greatest who's ever played that I have seen, and I've studied the industry as well. I happen to be able to play for 20 years on the same team with one of the greatest who have ever done it before. And I know for a fact that he hadn't hit the peak of what he's going to do, because in our time, there was some frustration that we had. And the frustration is that he's always wanted to do these things, saying, hey, we want to build a culture where we can grow a customer base, where it was our responsibility to get the customer, and it's the company responsibility to keep the customer. And to woo the customers. And we will always try to sell that idea and all the concepts that came back. And then I saw him and, we would go and make the big money and all the things that we would make, but it was still a frustration because he couldn't do some of the things that he knew that needed to be done. He saw it in the future, but we always had someone to cap us from being able to accomplish those goals. And when I saw us making this transition here to do this company, we stumbled into it. The product was only something to give it away at that time. And then he saw an opportunity. He's been, and I'm telling you, I've been watching. We have these conversations. Man, I'm just fascinated with this Uber concept and all of this stuff. And when he saw this product, I've seen us turn a company that had a product and no sense of direction in his head in the past. And he said, we need to find a sense of direction for this company. And we went in and reorchestrated the company and fixed the comp plan right and found a product that we could rally behind. And I saw this happening again when it came up to the travel product that we had. He said, listen, they're not doing this right. We need to redo this. Let's give this travel away like it was an Uber concept. And I believe we can make one of the biggest moves that we could have ever made in our life. I didn't see it in the beginning, and that's why I tried to talk him out of it. But
he actually came. He called me. Listen, he called me on the phone, and we live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, and he called me. He said, "Man," he said, "Man." Now I'm all fired up and excited, right?
Yeah.
So when I got my answers that I wanted, that I could have exclusivity here, and I knew what we were going to do. I knew it. I got in an Uber, not planning to start a company, not even having a thought, asking a few questions to a buddy of mine who actually introduced me to this technology. And I had 19 minutes left in the Uber. I put the entire company together in those 19 minutes, because it's like this. If somebody dropped $1 million in your pocket today, in your bank account, if you don't know what to do with it, you don't deserve it. See, I knew what I'd do if I had the right scenario and the right technology. And when I got it, and I got my answers, I put it together. I'm fired up and I'm excited. I told him what was going on, and I'm thinking he's fired up and excited. And he's like, yeah. And he calls me, right? He calls me. This is maybe a week later.
Yeah, come in Andre is at the house privately talking about it.
So,
I'm like, I think Holton lost his mind.
Look, they thought I was crazy. So he calls me up. He says, bro. He said, hey, bro, I need to stop you for a second, because that's what. Hey, I need to stop you for a second. So he gets my attention. He knows how to get my attention. He said, man, I know you're excited, but I don't see it, man.
Yeah.
Because I said I would never ever do travel.
Yeah.
Because you cannot make long-term money in travel network marketing. You can't. Period.
Yeah.
You can't. And so, not the way that companies have done it. There's not one company ever that somebody can say they have a residual income. The company may pay a residual part of the compensation plan, but residual income don't come from distributors, come from customers. So he said, you said we'd never do this. I say, man, get your butt on over here. Come on around to the house. He came to the house. I sat him down in my living room. I put it on the screen, and I explained the vision, because I think I was talking 5 years in my head, when he had only known about this for 5 days. And I had to backtrack, and I had to do this as well with distributors, because I think in the future, I don't think about today. Today's boring. I'm always, that down the road. And so, but when I sat down and explained it to him, he got it.
I get it.
He got it. And now he's a maniac on a mission right now. And we could not have somebody who takes care of the field. You can line up whoever in the world. We just couldn't have anybody better. He's the glue. He's the technician. He's all of that. But he goes out. He's done it. Nobody's given him anything. I've done the least amount of work in 20 plus years. In 20 years, I've done less than 10 meetings for him.
No, less than 5. And my last company, I only got 3 phone calls, three phone calls in the last time. Now this is serious. I was mad for a minute, but you know what? It paid off big time. $20 million later, I can smile. So anyway, listen.
But here's the thing. Here's the point. Here's the point to everyone. Okay, regardless of what you're doing, where you're going, and what your next steps are. This call was to educate you on the industry. I'm an ambassador for this industry. I'm the president, and the CEO and president and founder of iBüümerang. I tell people I don't own it. Let me explain that. When something is this big, don't ever try to own it. Because to own it is to keep it small. When you've got something special, you go give it away. And you make everybody have a sense of ownership in what this is. Because Holton Bugs owning it will never accomplish our goals. But if we own it, nobody's going to stop us. And what I can tell you is this here. The person I've done the least amount for, and the people that I've done the least amount for, are the ones who've actually done the biggest and made the most out of it. This is why we don't do deals. This is why nobody can come here, and I'm going to slide you above. I'm saying that right now. So if there's anybody on this call who's thinking, get me a call with Ed or Holton because I'm going to see what deal I can cut, I respect that you feel that you've earned it, and some of you may have based off the way the industry goes today. But why in the world? And you joined because your belief in me, and you said, "Man, I believe in you," and you took a risk to join this before our first $1 million earner was made. And then later on, because of all the people that will be in that same category, you have those who are the disbelievers today come around and says, "Man, listen, I'm here, man. I'm seeing what's going on. I want you to create a spot." And then I put them above you. When they didn't have the same intestinal fortitude that you had and belief, but I want to reward them for their disbelief and punish you for your faith. That's what's wrong with this industry. So they don't have a place. They can come in right at the bottom, and right at the bottom, there was no, okay, I'm going to incentive, or I'm going to pay you to come. And there's a lot of people looking for jobs, and we do have an employment department, but not from the distributor standpoint. So we don't do it that way. And I want you to know that, so that you'll never have to look up and say, "Who's above me that didn't used to be there?" Don't work that way. So I know you got to roll, because I'm going to have to roll in a second as well.
Welcome, y'all. I got to run too.
I've got a team of attorneys that I got to go meet with as well.
Okay.
So I got one for you, and then I've got to be getting out of here.
Okay, let's bring it in for a landing. People that, and I'm just going to do this in the final question. There are going to be challenges because the company is still brand spanking new, and we officially launched September 2nd, and we're in the second month. There will be challenges, as Holton just spoke about with this week with the payout.
Can I stop you for a moment, Ed?
Please.
Let me tell them I love telling people the challenges. You know why? It's just different. Most companies want to hide them and be perfect. We're not perfect. We're going to make some mistakes. We're going to have challenges. I promise you. Here's one promise I'm going to make. We're going to mess up. But the second promise that I'm going to make to you is this. We're not going to mess up on the same thing over and over again. We had that one commission issue that we had with our monthly and weekly commission. We've even had it before where we paid commissions and they were wrong. The field didn't know it. We came back after running our audit, found out that we owed the distributors, I forgot what the number was. It was close to about $100 and something thousand. Nobody complained about it because they didn't know, but we know. Pay these people the money. Give the money to them. It's their money. We just didn't know. That was early on. If you saw who we were when we launched, go back and try to look it up. You'll see how we've changed here. We've had issues with our boomerangs. You send them out, they don't come back. All right? Or they got stuck, or some technology glitch. We had issues before when we launched. We had a company called PayApp that we were working with that was distributing our commissions. And we had the big joke, pay up, don't pay up. And people earning all this money couldn't get it. You were part, you know the deal. We fixed it. Now we've got one of the best companies out there. Nobody complains. We pay commissions. If you want a check, you can get a check. If you want a debit card, if you want to get paid in Bitcoin, if you want to pay us in Bitcoin, however you want your money, you get it. Our job, we're not the no company. We're the yes company. So people ask us, can we do that? The answer is yes. Now let us figure out how and when we're going to do it. Okay? So that's just who we are and how we are. It's an evolving company, and our goals are too big to turn away ideas. That means that your ideas that we're going to implement it, but we're not going to say no. That's a closed mind. Oh no, we can't. Okay, can't is the brother to I don't want to. All right, and so we just. But I've watched companies, not only network marketing companies, restaurants, hotels. I've watched companies around the world. Well, we can't do that. No, you don't want to do it. Just tell me the truth. You don't want to do it. And so we just adopted a completely different philosophy. And I hope the industry adopts this philosophy. I know that there's, our calls, our Saturday training calls, our conventions are watched by company owners around the industry because they call me and tell me that they're watching.
You're dropping that off?
So
dropping that off?
but what I can tell you is this here. I tell everybody this, and I'll close with this one, and I'll give you that last question because I interrupted you. I don't want you to use this call and say, I heard from HB and I trust him. Why? Because just because you got on here and you heard me to speak with passion, you shouldn't trust me. You don't know me. All right. And I see people make that mistake all the time. Well, I met the owner, spent time with the owner, and he's full of integrity. Let me tell you when you find out what the integrity level is with a person, when you go through a major problem with them. How do they stand up in the midst of adversity? That determines the integrity. It may take 5 years. It may take 2 years. It may take 6 months. So all I ask you for is just give me 1% of your trust. That's all. Don't trust me 100%. You shouldn't. Don't trust any owner 100%. Give me 1%. And then let me earn the other 99%. That's how we operate here. Last question, then I got to roll.
I'm screaming right now. Love that. Yes, and yes signify amen, hallelujah. So, in closing, because this is the one question that's come up more than anything else. What do you see in terms of the vision for 2020 and beyond, and in terms of the core product of iBüümerang?
Well, here's the thing for a core product, okay? Our core product is not the product. That's why all these companies are shooting for $1 billion. We're going to be $1 billion company. And they stand up and they applaud. Do you know that 2 comes after 1? And 3 comes after 2, and 4 and 5? Those are numbers too. You know, Jeff Bezos didn't say, I'm going to be $1 billion company one day. No. But the reason that they do that is because they pigeonhole themselves into one unique category. That's old. It's no different than for Christmas buying your children, black and white televisions. You wouldn't do that, Ed. It's old. There's new technology. So, but the only reason that happens is because most company owners or distributors learn from their upline, and they keep those same bottled up goals that prevent them from thinking outside the box. So our vision is not the product. Our vision is unique. It's called the PRIB. It's the first ever in network marketing. The PRIB is a combination of data analytics, artificial intelligence, augmented reality that we'll be adding at some point, and that Zappos human relations touch of knowing how to treat people, knowing how to treat customers. And so we're not having customer service. We have a customer amazement department. And I wish I had time to tell you all the things that the PRIB does and will do. But my role as the CEO of this company is analogous to the CEO of a publicly traded company. A publicly traded company's CEO has one legal responsibility, and that is to make sure that they make a profit for their shareholders. We're not publicly traded, we're privately held. And I'm 50%, and then I've got a more influential partner who's 50%, my wife. And she's got a lot of influence on my 50% as well. Okay. So she's the majority owner, I say. But anyway, so my goal is to make sure that I increase the value of each Boomerang customer. And so how do I do that? Well, right now, how many customers do we have right now, T. Gray? Where's T. Gray?
I'm over here.
Just give me a ballpark.
221,000.
221,000 customers that we have right now. We've got people in our company right now with over what's our top customer gatherer right now?
She had 720 yesterday.
She had 720 customers?
Yesterday. She'll have 750 by Saturday.
So she had 720 individual customers yesterday. Here's what's cool about it. I know I'm running late. Hey, Anna, can you call the attorney and see if 4 o'clock, I always do this. Can you see if 4 o'clock works? Because my wife is going to be traveling. I got to go by and kiss her before she leaves and all of this stuff. But I get excited about this.
It's 224,000.
Oh, 224,000. He was wrong. He found the exact number. So here's what happens, guys. So let me just paint this picture, and then I got to shut it down, okay? So the PRIB, perpetual residual income builder. Here's where my juices flow, okay? Here's what's different, why we're unique and why we're different. Because people say, well, is this travel like any other travel? Well, is the Ritz-Carlton pillows going to be the same in the same hotel? Yes, travel's like any other travel. The way we get to it is different, but that's not even it. Here's what's unique. Every one of our customers, once you gather them, they're yours for life. Let me rewind and say that because that's foreign. And it went right over everybody's head. When you get a customer, they're off the market forever. When you get a network marketing distributor in your current company, they're not off the market forever. Why? You already know they're going to quit and they're going to be in 3 other companies before the next year's over. So you've got a lease when you do traditional network marketing. You got ownership when you build in the crib. Because that customer, what reason do they have to resign? Think about it, Ed. What reason do a customer, they don't pay iBoomerang anything ever. We don't charge them anything. Okay? And the only time our product works is the only time we pay a distributor is when the product works. So a customer pays less, we get paid. Customer pays more, no commission. So now that customer's in that environment. We take their habits with all the technology that we have from a data analytical basis, and we can legally monitor all of the habits, and we understand who they are and what they want. So we can now service them based off of what they want, not based off of what we want to offer to them. I can't wait till you listen to Lori talk about the immense travel opportunities that no other company in the world that we know of. Lori, does anybody in the world have, from a travel standpoint, all that we have from a total package?
Yeah.
No. Just listen to her. You're going to talk about some of that stuff tomorrow?
Yeah, we have a good one tomorrow.
Listen to that call tomorrow on Flight School. So here's what happens. So now you've got a customer. Your job was to get them. How do you get them? It's free. That costs them a thing. So you've got the customer. Guess what I spend all of my time doing? And our teams and our executives that we have, and highly intellectual, sharp people. We spend all of our time increasing the value proposition that we can offer to them. You don't have to go sell it to them. So this lady who's got 720 customers, we're going to market to them Vibe Rides. We're going to market to them our mobile service. We're going to market to them all the different services and products that we have. Her job is done. Those customers are not quitting. They'll never pick up the phone or send an email and say, I'm sick and tired of being in this environment that you guys don't charge me anything. I save money every time I go. I have better options with my Vibe Rides than Uber does. Can I tell them, T. Gray, what a couple of features on the Vibe Ride? Sure. Okay. So, and the reason I asked is some of our stuff right now is proprietary when we have these NDAs. So let me give you an example. Ladies, one of the biggest issues right now with Uber is safety. So, well, what do we say? Well, we say, let's figure out what people want and make it available to them. So ladies, which ride share would you like to have? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe you're leaving a nice lounge that you were at, and you're choosing your ride share. You choose your ride share. Next thing you know, you don't know who's coming at 2 o'clock in the morning. The ride share and where you partying that night may not be in the best of neighborhoods, so you don't know who's coming. You don't feel safe. Why? Because some guy who's whatever, just could be looking at you and you're just looking too sharp that night, and you feel the intimidation, and that becomes the longest Uber ride that you've ever had. We sat in I'm in the idea room of our executive office right now. We sat in the idea room and said, let's solve that. So ladies, when you pick up Vibe Rides and you choose, that's why we call it choose your vibe. You'll choose your own environment. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you choose female driver. Hello. But what if you're one of our drivers and you're like, I'm picking up people at 2 o'clock in the morning, and these guys, they just watch. Now I may lose a few of you when I say this, but I believe I'll gain a lot more. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and the Cowboys have just won the Super Bowl. Ed, straighten that face up, okay? Straighten that face up, all right? The Cowboys just won the Super Bowl. All right, now all of my executives are threatening to quit right now. Not Mark. And so here's what happens, okay? They just won the Super Bowl and we're partying like crazy. And we just beat, one of those AFC teams, that you guys are fans of. And the AFC team, they're sour. It's sour grapes. And they know there's going to be some passengers who are very upset at 2:00 in the morning when the Cowboys have just beat up on them. And the lady driver says, I don't want to pick up those people who got beat by the Cowboys. So she chooses female passengers pick up only. It's just simple thing, guys. Success is not difficult. It's just you got to decide whether you want to or whether you want to keep saying we can't do that. And so we're bringing all of these. So I want you to imagine. So my goal is this here. Here's the goal. Here's the goal of the Priv. The goal is, let's just say here, Ed, and I'll just use you for an example. This is no guarantees because I know people record stuff and they say, oh, he guaranteed this. It's not guaranteed. My goal is for you to do this. I know you've got children. We've had conversations about your kids, and that's what I love. And I know that's why you're building this. Here's the goal. In network marketing, let me tell you what I got sick and tired of. I got sick and tired of being the MLM hypocrite. I was the biggest one. Me, Holton Bugs, right here. I stood on stage and I said all the same things that everybody else said and never thought. Oh, you can have a residual income and you can pass it on to your children's children. We got over about 500 plus people on our panel here right now, and probably, in our system, probably a whole lot more for some groups. Name one person that you know of personally, ladies and gentlemen. One, just give me one, who can make this statement. Oh yeah, this big estate that we have here, the reason we have it is because my grandma and granddaddy was in network marketing, and we still live off of their residual income today, and it's even larger today than it was when they first built it. Give me one. I've been doing it 29 years. I don't know of any. It does not exist. It's a lie. And we say that lie from stage over and over. And some of you are going to go out and in your presentation, it's so indoctrinated in our brains, you're going to say it over and over and over, and you've got no proof of it whatsoever. You can't even identify one person who's benefited from residual income that's been passed on generations. And then they'll say, I'm a startup. So here's what my goal is. My goal, Ed, is for you to build a consumer base, build a network, and that network builds a consumer base. And every year, here's what I want you to know I'm working on, making sure I add something else so each one of your customers can actually choose to buy, which makes the profitability of each customer that you have more valuable to you. So right now, we look at and we say that the average customer, this is just a theoretical number that I'm going to throw out right now. It's going to take us 18 months to collect all of our data for us to be close. We look at the annual revenue of profitability of a customer to you is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood right now. I'm going to say 50% of what we've been talking about. I'll say $300. Okay, that's what they're worth to you, $300. So let's just say that a person builds 1,000 customer network. These are her personal customers, by the way. That's $300,000 because I'm adding more stuff to it. But my goal is to make it next year, maybe 350, 400. They're never going to quit. Okay. And so that's what this is really all about. So one day when you're completing your will, you may look at your organization and say, I've got an organization of 1 million customers in my network. And you look at your son and you say, hey, listen, to you, I'm leaving you 200,000 customers, or the income from 200,000 customers. You look at your next kid, hey, I'm leaving you 200,000. You look, I'm leaving 200,000. And you may say, to this hospital, I'm going to make sure I put into a trust 300,000 customers that will, the revenue from those customers go to this particular trust where it's perpetual because it's customer driven, not distributor driven. And your customers will never quit. So I've got to go. I would love to stay here and talk to you guys more, but I've got to go. My wife is leaving, and I appreciate all the questions. And you guys are incredible. Ed, you rock as always. Can't wait to see you. And we've got events coming up. We've got a major event in December 6th and 7th where we're going to be rolling out our ride share in Miami. Go to the iBoom Hub. You'll see everything that we've got there, and just get involved, guys. Pay attention to us. If you're not ready, watch us. I can tell you this. It's also exciting watching a company create history, even if you choose not to be a part of it. And so I'm going to ask you, as I'm going to go on my Instagram and all of my social media, And I'm asking the world I want them to use our rideshare. Stop thinking other network marketing companies are your competition. That's limited thinking. I've got friends, I'm asking everyone in the world, choose Vibe Rides. Why? Because help us make this a very successful rideshare company. Watch what happens to the industry when other innovators come out. That's what we should be doing instead of saying, well, they're bad and we're better. And guys, that's playing. You're not playing at a high level when your conversations is putting other companies down. We don't do it. You'll never hear it from me. And I hope I never, ever hear it from you. But other than that, guys, I got to go. And thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. You guys absolutely rock. And I see you guys on the beaches of the world, literally. Boom.
Boom. Thank you so much, Holton Bugs. Have a great rest of your day, man. We'll see you in New Jersey next week. Much love to you all. Anna, we love you and appreciate you too. We know how hard you're working. And all of corporate, everybody that came on, all of the special guest speakers that came on, thank you all for sharing your brilliance with us. Load up, you all. December 6th, 7th weekend in Miami. Dream Weekend is going to be off the chart. Open Leadership Training, hit Sapphire to get there. Yeah, and we will get the recording out as soon as it's edited. So be patient with that. As soon as it's done, we'll make sure that the leaders will get it and the leaders will get it to you. Much love. You all have a great day.